Hi, my friends. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another Chit Chat Live from East Texas. I'm your host, DC. I'm your courage coach, and I'm so excited you guys are joining me today. I'm so thrilled you guys are taking some time in this fabulous Saturday morning to spend it with me. So, for those of you guys that are new, let me give you a little bit. I am one of those people that believes that everybody is supposed to live your best life now. I truly believe people are meant for greatness. This is something I really feel in my heart. So when I started this series, I really wanted to empower creative individuals. I wanted to empower people to start living that dream. I wanted to give you guys tools. I wanted to give you tips, and I wanted to give you some resources to get to the next level. One of the things I've been doing for the last 3 episodes, this is our 3rd one together, is kind of giving you some insights on what I do with my private business, what I do with my clients. So I'm giving you kind of the foundation of things that we do to get people from feeling stuck in their lives to transitioning to much more fulfilling careers. Today, we're going to talk about fears. We have to talk about fears. In order to get to the next level, sometimes fears are the things that are holding us back and we don't even know it. But before we start, my friends, come on, give me some love. Go ahead, give this episode a like. Make sure you share it. Invite other people to join us. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and make sure you give me some highs. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching live as well from YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following our notifications. Make sure you're not missing anything. At any point in time during the show, let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Kind of share what you guys are comments, anything. I'll be answering throughout the show. If not, I'll go back at the end of it and make sure that I answer any of your questions. So make sure you guys are putting some comments in here so we know you guys are here. Are you guys ready to start? Let's go back. We started 2 episodes ago talking about finding our passion, finding our dreams. So the very first thing we talked about, and you guys can go back and watch those episodes again, remember that. So the very first thing we talked about that I think is one of the keys in everything we do is, what do we want? And sometimes as adults, especially if you have a family, especially if you are busy and you're doing a lot of things, we take it for granted. We assume that we're too old or we're missing our chance, and we kind of go with the flow of things and kind of let it go. What do we want? It's one of those things, as Deepak Chopra says, is a soul question. It's like asking ourselves every day, who am I? Where do I want to go? What is my passion? What is my desire? What is my purpose? I ask this myself all the time. What is my purpose? What do I want is the thing that keeps us going from here to there, if that makes any sense. It's the stuff that's going to get us to the next level. What we want in our lives is the things that thrives us, is the motivation that goes in someplace. What happens a lot of the times is we lose our passion, we lose our goals, we lose track of things. We get stuck in the rat race. So the very first episode I asked you guys, ask yourself, what do you want? The next thing I asked you guys to do was literally spend some time going through your week and figure it out. Of the things that you're doing every day, what do you like? What do you don't like? What are some of the things you do because you have to? You're not happy or sad, but it doesn't flow you. This is the stuff that we do. Those are very important questions, because if 80% of the stuff that you're doing in your life you hate, we have a problem. My friends, you're miserable, you're stuck. This is not where you want to be in your life. 80% of the things you're doing don't bring you some joy. We have some loss. Here's the reality of it. I'm always busy, and a lot of my friends like, I hate bothering you because you're busy. If that's the case, you're never going to see me because I'm always busy. This is what I do. I'm very easily engaged. I keep myself occupied. But I'm busy and I love everything that I do for 90% of the time. I can be honest. There's some stuff that comes with the business that you're like, okay, not the thrilling in my life, but I still do it. I still enjoy it. It's not the things that makes my heart, flutter in anticipation, but I do it. What we have to decide is, what is those busy things that you do that you hate? And how do we change it? In order to get to the next level, you always have to know where you're at. So first thing we talked about is, where are you in your life? What are you doing? Are you happy with what you're doing? Is it making you smile? Take an analysis. That's the first thing. So once you went through that, and this is, remember, the foundation to the whole entire process is understanding where you are. Last week, we moved forward and say, okay, you realize, there's a whole bunch of stuff I'm doing that's not making me happy. Something has to go. Not a problem. You decided whatever that might have been, changes have to take place. You wanted to do something. Before you go jump up there and says, okay, we're going to go conquer the world, quit my job and do whatever else, slow it down. as adults, there's some things that have to happen in our lives. There's some stuff that we have responsibilities that we have to take care of. So one of the things we always have to do is kind of slow it down, analyze it. Analyze the village. Who is in your village that is actually there for you? Because dreams are fragile and they are to be nourished. And when you have an idea, because whether you believe it or not, and this is something that I truly feel, and my mentor says it all the time, the universe or God, if you believe in God, is never going to give you an idea that he's not going to give you the resources how to get there. It's not going to happen. So if you have an idea in your soul, and this is something that kind of gets you sparkle, and you have to be realistic. We get tons of ideas and tons of thoughts that come and go. It is those dreams that kind of make you smile. It's the dreams that don't go away. It's those passions that keep coming back over and over. Those are the ones I'm talking about. So those dreams that you realize, 80% of the things I'm doing is not making me happy. Something has to change. Ooh, I want to go back to school. Before you take those leaps, because like everything else, my friends, when we're doing something exciting, think about if you got a new car, or if you got, like I'm a purse person. If you got a new purse, you got a new gift, you are starting dating somebody. You want to share this with the world. When we're happy, when we have something in our lives, we want to share it with everybody. So, and if you're in that situation, go ahead, put some comments. Let me know if this is something you do. When something exciting and happens to you, do you share with people? Just give me some yeses. And I see Miss Laura is on the line with us. Just give me some yeses. Put it in the comments. Do you actually get excited and wanted to share? Normal reaction for all of us. What happens with our dreams is if we share with the wrong people, there's those people that I truly call dream assassins. That excitement can get crushed even before you start. Those people have a way of destroying that passion. A simple thought, a simple glance, a simple anything they can say, because your dreams are very, very gentle and fragile. So what I ask everybody to do is to analyze your tribe. And this is one of the things I ask you guys to do. Look at everybody who's in your tribe. From where the places you go to work, where you go to school, your immediate family, the people you go in passings, even your Facebook friends. Every single person you communicate, write it down. And then you're going to figure out where they fall in this list. And I kind of give you a little cheat sheet to think about it. Write the person's name. Do you consider them a cheerleader? Do you consider them an assassin? Do you consider them a bystander? Where all these people fall? Because here's the catch. How do you know the difference between a cheerleader, an assassin, or a bystander? Your cheerleaders, and we tend to have a small crowd. It's not going to be a lot of people, my friends. It's not going to be thousands of people. It's going to be small. These are the people that you're going to tell them, regardless of the crazy idea, regardless of how wild it sounds, are going to be excited for you. They're going to be the ones that's like, okay, when do we start? What do you need? What can I do? How can I help? That sounds great. Let's make it happen. They're the ones that when you tell them this idea are just as excited with you. Your cheerleaders are the ones who usually are going to keep you going, oh my God, this is such a great thing. I think you should do it. Those are the people you want. You want those to help you water that dream. Continue to grow that dream. Your assassins, it's a tad bit hard to decide. They're a tad bit hard to discern. For the simple fact that this is the part that they come in many disguises. When I talked last week, we talked about roadblocks, and roadblocks can be physical. It can be, financial. It can be time-wise. Definitely people. Your assassins are one of those roadblocks. Your assassins are usually come with well-meaning people. They have really good intentions. These are the people that are always telling you, let me play devil's advocate. The devil does not need an advocate. They can be bad on their own. These are the people who are always going to question what you're doing and why do you do it and why do you think. Those are the ones in your lives, and it's hard to say it, and my friends, sometimes it hurts us, who always are going to comment, do you think you're better than us because you're moving on? These are the people you're going to find in your lives that you want to, whether we like it or not, because they tend to be family, they can be friends, they can be dear ones, you want to impress. And sometimes a thought or a comment from them in passing carelessly will destroy your dreams. Here is the reality. These are your dreams, not theirs. They don't have to be excited about it. They don't have to like them. They don't even have to care. God did not put that dream in their hearts. They don't understand where you're coming from. The problem we have is, depending on our situations, where we're at, where we live, the people in our lives are only judging us for what they see, not by what we know and what we feel. They're only judging us where we're at. You think you're going to go back to school? What? Who do you think you are? And they'll give you those reasons. So when you're looking at it, my friends, you have to realize who's in your tribe. This is huge. You have to know who are the people you can count on and who are the people, let's be honest, that you might want to keep that dream very secure and very away. So when you're analyzing your tribe, you're looking at people who are excited, who are motivated. So also look at yourself. This is the roadblocks within ourselves. Because here's the thing. If 80 to 90% of the people in your tribe are negative, condescending, don't really dream, don't really have these expectations, that could be also a reflection on us. That's a reflection on our attitudes. Your attitude is going to bring your tribe to you. So if all the people in your life are negative, all the people in your life complain, they have no dreams, they have no goals, then you might want to look and say, is that who I am? Is that who I become? Spirits are very transferable. If you spend too much time with negative people, you tend to become that. If you spend too much time criticizing people, you will find yourselves criticizing people. If whoever you're surrounding yourself is not bringing the best of you, this is hard, my friend, because you're going to find yourself in that situation. You're going to find yourself doing those things. So when you're looking at roadblocks, you have to really, really think, who's in my tribe? Who are the people that I want to share my dreams with? And who are the people that might honestly kill it just because they don't see it? Because today, now we're going to talk about fears. So fears is those things that back in the days, let's be honest, kept us alive. Fears were huge. They were the things that survived. Those are the things we were able to protect ourselves from, like getting attacked by a lion. You know what I mean? Looking for food, not eating poison things, not stepping on fears were huge back in the day. Nowadays, in our current society, there's not that much our fears can save us in the immediate, if that makes any sense. Sometimes our fears tend to paralyze us. Because here's the part. You're doing your analysis, you say, okay, something has to change and I want to go back to school. We have identified those roadblocks, we identified those people, we got our cheerleaders in place. And then we start thinking about, can I do this? What does this mean? And fear slowly kind of talk to us in the back of our minds. Because when we're in your 20s, and 20s, if you're over 20s or in your 20s, there's something about that age that is magical. The 20-year-olds, teenagers are fearless. They're not looking at the consequences of their actions. They're going to have an idea and they're going to jump. It's usually the reason when we ask them, it's like, what were you thinking? 90% of them, they're not. They're just jumping. They had an idea, they're going to do it. It took me less than 45 minutes to decide that I was going to join the military in my 20s. I was going to finish college and join the military. Did not think too much about it. That was not a hard decision. We're going to do this. 45 minutes to go join the military. That's it. Not much thought to it. As an adult now, it's a little different. Once you hit a certain age, and there's nothing wrong with it. We always think, oh my God, we get old, we get stuck in our ways. That's not the case. We're not stuck in our ways. We become very risk phobia. We tend to look at things from a different perspective. When you're young, we don't see it that way. As you age and we become more mature, wisdom comes in age, we see all the mistakes that we did in our youth. I'm like, that didn't turn out too well. We are also looking at what we have in our immediate life. We get to the place in my 40s, you're looking at, I have a mortgage. I have bills to pay. I have responsibility. If you are a parent, you're looking at your children. You're taking kids to school. If you're running a business, there's people that are counting on you. If you're an employer and employed, there's all the things that come with adulthood. And I still think adulthood is a little overrated, but that's just me. But we become a little bit more secure. We need that security. We become a lot more focused on all the things that we could lose. So we become content. We might not be thrilled and happy, but we get comfortable. And we tend to rationalize this. It's like, well, it's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. That's what those things do to us. Because the older we become, the more conscious we become of all the things that we're responsible for. It's part of the adult life. Unfortunately, good, bad, or indifferent, we tend to look at it that way. So what happens to our dreams? So here's one really easy example to think about it. You realize, I really don't like what I'm doing. I need a change. We're going through this process and you say, I should go back to school. Sounds like a great idea. You sleep on it. And the next day you think about it, you're like, what does that mean? And the first thing you're looking at is, I'm too old. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. What if this doesn't work? What am I doing here? Fears comes in and gives you, I usually think fears can be disguised in the shape of excuses because we have a whole bunch of reasons why this might not work. It has nothing to do with being proven or not proven right or wrong. That's what our fears do. Our fears come in these shapes and they whisper in the back of our minds and they tell us all these things. And if you have a couple of dream assassins, they're going to tell you their fears too. So you have all these things coming at you. But what does that mean? So let me give you my life. And I've talked to you guys before, and if you've been following along with me, I was in that stage of my life. And from the outside, I had the perfect world. I can guarantee you, everybody's like, oh my God, I'm living the American dream. I have the job, I have a career, I get paid well. I'm doing all these things that I'm supposed to. Remember those question marks? Yet I was miserable. On the inside, I was miserable because at the end of the day, I wasn't doing what I was meant to. I wasn't following my God-given talents. I was officially living somebody else's dream. And it was hard. So when I finally became honest with myself and decided, okay, I'm going to go back to having a much more creative life. So I decided to write a book. The writing of the book, that was pretty easy. Like you sit on a couch and you type. Nothing big deal. When I decided that I was going to publish the book and truly put this out there, that's when the fears kicked in, my friends. This is when reality got real. 90% of the people in my life had no idea that I was in any form, shape, or way interested in being a creative individual. Nobody. 90% of them had no clue that I went to school for filmmaking. They had no idea that I wanted to write. Even more, I decided to write a book of fantasy and I was living in the Bible Belt. That to me was terrifying. What were my friends going to say? What were they going to think? Because here's what happens with fears. They all come at you all at once and paralyze you. So here's some of the things that was holding me back, or some of the fears that you're going to see when they come at you. So let's take a look at it. Are any of these sound familiar to you? Too old, not enough time, not enough money. What will people think? What if I fail? When we're looking at starting a new dream and a new passion or something for ourselves, these are the things that come at you. My fear was, what are people going to think? What are they going to say? Then I had this whole question like, what if nobody buys this book? And then I had the opposite reaction. What if they buy the book and they hate it? What are they going to think about me? What is their reaction? I had 500 questions of what if. And unfortunately for us, what if is a distraction. I don't know how else to explain it. And we have had episodes about fear, so you can always go back and take a look at those. Fears are real. Fears are those things that can paralyze us. Fears are the things that are holding us back. I want you to take a couple minutes. What is holding you back? What are those things that you want to do? And when you're rationalizing it, you're going, I can't do this. And you have your list, just like I did. We have an entire list of all the things that is not going to work and why it's not going to work. And sometimes we have more information than anything else. Let's be honest. We have tons of information why it's not going to work. What I had issues with was I thought I needed to conquer these fears. I needed to get over these fears before I could do anything. As a soldier, remember, joined the military very quickly, I honestly thought I had to be fearless. I had to have no fears, no issues, no concerns. I had to move forward and execute like I was in my 20s. Not thinking consequences, not thinking we're just going to jump and take a leap. The reality is, that's not the case. Even to this day, I have 15 books, my friends. I write all the time. I have a podcast. I have all of these things. And anytime I'm trying a new adventure, anytime I try a new project, a new business idea, there's those butterflies. There's that fear that comes in. There's those thoughts in the back of my mind. So the catch is not to be fearless, but to do it afraid. It's what it's all about, is taking leaps of faith while we're still afraid. It's knowing, acknowledging them, realizing these fears are there, and then being able to move forward. You have to do it afraid. Because if you're going to wait for these fears to go away, when you're going to wait to be fearless, when you're going to wait to everything to line up and all the stars to come into play, time is still ticking and your dreams are going to slide away. So let's go back to that idea. You decided, hey, I'm going to go back to school because I want a new career. The first thing we do, because remember, this is still the foundation of my business program. So the first thing I do with my clients is I want them to acknowledge. I want them to understand where these fears are coming from. Are they their fears, or does somebody else put them on you? Is these somebody else's thoughts? They're not yours. Because that's the reality. Sometimes we pick up fears from other people. Are they yours? Or does somebody else tell you this was going to happen? So let's start with the too old. Because, we have a couple fears and we all acknowledge. So too old. What does too old mean for us? How do we become too old? We are living in a society that, for whatever reason, is obsessed with youth. Youth has knowledge, lots of knowledge. Like, think of all the information at their fingertips. Wisdom comes with age, and that's kind of the difference. So we are convinced that in order to start a new business, a new adventure, take a leap of faith, we have to be young. My friends, I was literally 38 years old when I decided to start writing. 38. Let's be honest. And my parents was like, you're just a kid. So depending on the place that you are in your life, perspective-wise, age is a little different. Too old, we're all going to get old. What you do with your time is what matters. So you're never too old to start something new. Everybody says, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Good news, we're not dogs, so that doesn't qualify. So too old is not going to count. I don't have enough time. If you have enough time to binge watch a whole entire series on Netflix, you might have enough time. If you have enough time to take 500 different little trips, go shopping, do all these things, time is relative. Time, my friends, is what you prioritize. What you care about is where you spend your time and your money. So time is what you put emphasis in. We're all addicted to our phones. I have mine right next to me just in case it goes off. Phone's here. I'm attached to tablets. We have technology. We have all this stuff. Time is relative because the amount of time that I can spend looking at all my notices on Facebook, and we all have them, I probably could have read a couple books. So when it comes to time, you're going to spend it doing something. Can you spend it chasing your dreams? I don't have enough money is a huge one, and I hear it a lot. So my question for everybody every time I hear this is, how much are you worth? Especially for parents. Parents are like, my best friend is probably the greatest example. He has no issue spending tons and tons of money on his babies. He loves them. This is what his dreams are for. But if you ask him to spend a amount of money on himself, he's like, oh, I don't know. I could use this for something else. It comes back to how much do you think you're worth? Are you worth going back to school? Here's the reality. When you're looking at going back to school, investing in a business, investing in a course, investing in something, there's always options. It doesn't mean you got to pay the whole thing up front. There is loan programs. There is payment plans. There is, if you're going back to school, there are grants, depending on what your situation is. One of the things that I realize a lot is everybody says, I want to go back to school, but I don't think I can. And they never actually ever make it to the school to ask questions. Like, at no point in time do they take the first steps. Like, just go ask. See how much of it. Nowadays in our careers, and I'm going to give you a pitch for most schools' educations. Do you know, because of an adult life that we have and all the experience that we have and some of the trainings that you have taken, that it can count towards your education? There is programs out there, and every school is a little different, that actually has these options. So before counting it off, then you go talk to them. Take the first step. Then you're looking at, here's one of my favorite ones. What will people think? This is the one that got me, my friends, because fear of the public, fear of speaking in public, fear of what people are going to think are usually one of the hardest ones for adults. Whether people say it or not, we want to be like. I know everybody's like, I don't care what people think. We care what people think. We live in a community. Very few of us don't really can say we're hermits. We tend to care what people think, whether that be our immediate family or a lot of group of people. We care. It's just the nature we've been, that's kind of in our DNA. It's just our nature. So what people think matters to us, and it tends to matter a lot, and it tends to hold us back. It goes back to how much do you care what they think, and how much do you care how happy you are, how authentic you are. This is all about being authentic. It's all about being your true self at all time, and it's following your purpose. Are you going to make some people mad? Yes. Are you going to disappoint some people? Probably. But can you be respectful while you do it? That's the catch. Be respectful at all times. But be true and authentic to yourself. Be true and authentic to the dreams and beliefs you have, because that's what you're going to do. It's all about acknowledging the fears and kind of going down and say, how much is this realistic? How much is it holding me back? How much of all these fears, and take a look at some of the really big ones that we kind of have to look at as adults. What do we do? And how do we make it here? So one of the things I realized when I decided to start writing is with my fears, they were both whether I succeeded and failed. I had fears for both sides, which was crazy because I was just as upset if this took off and what people were going to think because I didn't want to lose friends who knew me, as well as I was if it didn't take off because then what were people going to think? So I was in this limbo. And at the end of the day, I ran out of excuses of why I wasn't living this life. I ran out of excuses why I wasn't being a healer, why I wasn't being a coach, why I wasn't all the things that were in my soul because of my fears. So once I acknowledged and realized they're not going to go away, they're going to just follow me along from one project to the other, then I did something that I share with everybody. So with my clients, it's something we do. And I learned this from Elizabeth Gilbert. So I learned it from her book, Big Magic. So if you have a creative being and want to read something, this is amazing. She actually focuses on writers. So either way, creative, artist, anybody, great book, Elizabeth Gilbert. I actually had an awesome opportunity to meet her. She's amazing. But she says, write a letter to your fears. And the first time I read it, I was like, what? You want me to write a letter to my fears? But it was amazing because I was able to have a connection. You can name your fears. I think she has a name for hers. At one point in time, I don't even remember what I named my fear. But it actually started with, dear fear, acknowledge the fact that you're here. I acknowledge your part. I'm grateful for the fact that you're trying to keep me safe, and you have kept me safe. But like Elizabeth did, I was very honest with the fact that this is just a book. It is not my life legacy. I'm not going to die. It's not going to save anybody. It's not going to hurt anybody. It is just a book. So please, you can come along with the ride. You're part of the family, but you are not allowed to drive this car. And I acknowledge it. I acknowledge the fact that the fear was there. I acknowledge the fact that it was going to be there. I realized that it was trying to keep me safe, but at the same time not serving me. And I was able to start kind of moving forward. Still, depending on the project that I do, fear is still there. It's supposed to be there. It is the new, it is the unknown, it is taking this leap of faith. But I had to do it afraid. So that's what I'm asking you guys to do. So in this last 3 weeks, we have been talking about these different things. As you get ready to look at yourself and you're analyzing your days and you're realizing 80% of the things I'm doing are not making me happy, then it's time for a change. And it's time to say, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? Then look at the people in your tribe. Is this tribe serving you? Is it helping you get to the next stage? If your tribe is solid and your tribe is good, then they want to see you happy. Nobody wants to be around unhappy people. It's not really the most encouraging thing. So your tribe wants you happy, your tribe will want you to be successful. So some sacrifices have to be made. When you start making changes, you absolutely are going to have to put time. You're going to see yourself putting money. What is your priority in life? You're going to notice is where you spend your time and your money. That's just the nature of what it is. And you're going to be able to take these leaps. And you're probably going to do it afraid. And that's okay. But are you worth it? Is your life meant to be mediocre? Or are you willing to take it to the next level? Every single dream is a little different. Just because I decided I want to publish books and write doesn't mean that's for everybody. Every single person has a different dream and a goal. You have to follow your heart. And it doesn't have to be huge or radical. You also don't have to quit your job and move to another country to actually achieve your dreams. Sometimes small incremental steps will get you there. So don't do anything radical and decide, I need a new career. Let's get you there slowly. Make sure you have a new job before you take the leap. But make sure you're taking these steps. So my friends, I'm always excited you guys are joining me. I'm always thrilled you guys are taking a morning to come and hang out with me. Thank you, Miss Laura, for everybody sending me some love. If you are watching, go ahead, give this episode a like, share with somebody so they can watch the replay. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, I'm here for you. The fun and exciting part is my coaching program is live now. So if anybody is interested in taking a leap of faith and you want to go ahead and take the next steps with me, send me a message. Let's talk about it. I'm absolutely interested to hear what you guys want to do. How can I serve you? How can I help you? Or if I'm not the person for you, still find a coach. I'm a true believer mentorship and coaching can do it. One of the things that I offer all my clients is I'm planning to be your cheerleader. I'm also planning to be your accountability coach because you need both. Because this kind of program regards whether you're trying to take it to the next steps. You need somebody to remind you where you say you're going to go and help you get there and help you get you to the next level in your life. So interested in continuing with that. It is a commitment. You are going to commit some time. You are going to commit some funds. You are going to make this a priority. But if your life is meant for greatness, you're going to do it. So let me know if you're interested. Send me a note. We'll chit chat. I'll definitely send you a note to say hi, see how you guys are doing. I'm excited you guys are joining us. Next week, we'll be back. And I want to focus a lot next week on health-wise in terms of how are you taking care of yourself. So we're going to talk about focusing on yourself, focusing on being balanced, and especially in these times of turbulence, and especially in these times where everything just seems all over the place. Let's talk about what we can do to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and making sure we're taking care of our bodies and living to the next lives. And so that's something that we want to definitely talk about. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I am extremely grateful you guys are joining me. I'm sending you lots and lots of blessings. Hopefully you guys have a beautiful Saturday morning. It is gorgeous here in East Texas, so I am ready to go out. I'm going to go out and catch some movies for the days just because I love movies, so it's fun and exciting. I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Thank you everyone for joining me. Go ahead, take a leap of faith. Follow your dreams. Know that you're allowed to do it afraid, and know that you are meant for greatness. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye everyone.